details. Metrodorus of Chios, a student of Democritus, is said to have written, "A single ear of corn in a large field is as strange as a single world in infinite space." In the year 467 BC, a bright fireball appeared in the skies of Asia Minor, and fragments of it fell near the present-day town of Gallipoli. The event affected the thinking of many, including the young philosopher Anaxagoras of Clazomene, who wrote, "The sun, the moon, and all the stars are stones on fire. The moon is an incandescent solid having in it plains, mountains, and ravines. The light which the moon has is not its own, but comes from the sun." He also said that the purpose of life is to investigate the sun, moon, and heaven. The Roman poet Lucretius believed in other worlds in other parts of the universe, with races of different men and different animals. Other prominent Greek philosophers, most notably Plato and Aristotle, espoused the opposing view that the earth is unique. The earth-central model of the cosmos, based on the teachings of Aristotle and Ptolemy, gained prominence over time and dominated the European worldview until the late Middle Ages. Conveniently, the privileged position claimed for our planet and humankind suited the church teachings. There was little discussion of extraterrestrial life, with a few exceptions. The tide started to turn with the publication of Nicholas Copernicus's influential volume on the revolutions of celestial bodies, just before his death in 1543. He posited that the sun occupied the center of the universe, thus displacing the earth from its unique niche. But the true revolution occurred with the invention of the telescope at the beginning of the next century. Galileo's 1610 discovery of 4 moons circling Jupiter proved the existence of heavenly bodies that did not orbit the Earth. He also showed that Venus exhibited a full set of phases, just like the moon, as predicted by Copernicus's sun-centered model. Perhaps even more dramatic was the revelation from Galileo's telescopic observations that the moon was quite similar to the Earth in many ways. His beautiful sketches of the lunar landscape show mountains and valleys. Here was another world in its own right, with familiar topography. I remember the first time the concept of another world entered my mind when I was a child. It was during a walk with my father in our garden in Sri Lanka, where I grew up. He pointed to the moon and told me that people had walked on it. I was astonished. The idea that one could walk on something in the sky boggled my mind. Suddenly, that bright light in the sky became a place that one could visit. To be sure, it was the possibility of adventure rather than the great philosophical implications of there being other worlds that impressed me. Looking back, that moment has had a defining impact on the path I have taken in life. Like many kids, I dreamt of becoming an astronaut. That desire fostered my interest in science and eventually led me to a career in astrophysics. The first time I heard about planets being detected around other stars was in the summer of 1991, while I was an intern at The Economist in London. The science editor, Oliver Morton, mentioned that astronomers were about to announce a planet orbiting a stellar cinder called a pulsar. I didn't quite grasp the significance, and was a bit annoyed that the planet story bumped from that week's issue an article I had written. 6 months later, that particular claim was retracted, but a different pulsar with planets was found by then. A few years later, I interviewed several astronomers searching for Jupiter-like planets around normal stars for a news item in Science magazine. Despite 15 years of searching, they had not found any as of 1994, so some wondered whether Jupiters might be rare. Common or rare? Early ideas about the origin of the solar system implied that planets are a natural outcome of the sun's birth, thus they should be common around other stars too. In 1755, the Prussian philosopher Immanuel Kant proposed that planets coalesced out of a diffuse cloud of particles surrounding the young sun. His model attempted to explain the order of the planets. The inner ones were denser.